Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 42. Steve, how you doing? Actual real Steve, the only Steve, of course.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Finally kicked him out. Yes.
Yeah, we got rid of the
It's
other
mine.
Steve, yeah.
It's mine.
He's
No,
the
I'm doing
only
good.
Steve.
I'm doing good. I finally feel like I fully recovered from this. Yeah. It took a while, but yeah, I'm now back to my 100% self, and it's nice. So yeah. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, just catching up on some stuff, and I feel like I caught up to everything. The only thing I have left to do is the Amazon content, which I have all the USB content right here, and I'm actually surprised with the USB sticks they gave out with our B-roll. It's like 30 gigabyte USB sticks. Like, here you go. I'm like, that's a big chunk you gave.
PR companies that invest in a whole bunch of USB. I have a ton of USB drives that are like a terabyte, 2 terabytes. I'm like, yeah, I'll keep these. Are you kidding?
Thank you. Yeah. They're not gonna be like, can you upload this and bring it back tomorrow? Like, they're like, yeah, here you go. I mean, of course, they probably have like a whole bag of these Amazon, their little.
I even got one from last PAX. I literally have here. It's from League of Legends. It's from the Mage Seeker. It's just a 2 terabyte drive, and I'm like, heck yeah. I'm like, I'll keep it. Yes, please.
No, they have definitely one of the best things. If you want to capture B-roll or some PR people, congrats on that. Amazon, they did a great job on that. Camille, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm feeling like Steve. I feel like I'm finally recharged from Summer Game Fest. I got really sick after. I thought it was allergies, and then all of a sudden, I think it was 3 days after, I just got hit with a really bad cold.
Yeah, I think we both got the same thing.
Yeah,
I think we were hanging out probably the most together, and I think because I found out that I think Steven Totillo got COVID, and then people that we were hanging out with were also hanging out with him. So I think I don't know. I don't know if we got COVID or not.
I mean. Breaking news.
No, he tweeted that out shortly after SDF. That's why people thought when I got sick, people were saying, "Steve, are you sure it's not COVID?" I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't officially tell because I didn't have any tests because they were all expired.
Well, yeah.
But,
so I did a test because now conventions you just never know.
Absolutely.
So I did a test. So it came back negative, but I didn't know about the COVID thing happening. I mean, I guess it's expected now at events, but still. Yeah, that was lingering for a while, and it actually KO'd me for a bit. There was I was supposed to do Twitch Rivals, and I couldn't do it because I was so sick. So that was unfortunate, but there's always a next time. Always a next time.
Yeah, well,
I've never done Twitch Rivals. I've always wanted to, but
same here. I never know how to get in. So
I've pitched a tournament or two for accessibility, but they've never no one's ever gotten back to me on anything like that.
Yeah.
Get back to Steve. Get back.
You're your own entity. I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad both of you are back on your feet. Glad to have you both here as we're going to be talking about our first subject of the day. Elden Ring is too damn hard. Apparently, gamers are not good enough for. I don't know. Obviously, that's the whole headline here from PC Games. Elden Ring has dropped to mixed reviews on Steam on the user viewer score, citing the game is the either performance issues or just bad unbalancing issues as well. I've seen many friends, one of my good friends on Twitch, his name's Kyle Rampage. They were like, "Oh, these bosses are easy. What's going on here?" And not his, everyone in general, but everyone's like, "These bosses are easy." I'm told you reach the last boss is apparently impossible. It feels like everyone is who reviewed it. I've seen so far that I reviewed this game up to the point where the last boss, I haven't beaten the boss yet, but games 9 out of 10 or something like that. But is it? I don't know if it's a performance issue with either with your PC or especially on console, or is it just unbalanced? Isn't Elden Ring supposed to be hard?
Well, that's the thing. It's I don't play Elden Ring. I don't play the Elden Ring. But no, I don't play.
I'm more
Elden
of a
Ring.
necklace guy. I don't do rings.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, it's just not my type of game. But that's anytime I think of Elden Ring, it's always the discourse of that community or people that pose to be a part of that community. saying like, oh, people are complaining that's too hard. Well, you don't know. That's how it's supposed to be. Like you're a casual gamer, blah, 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 blah. Right? So now it's just funny that people are complaining that it's too hard, because I thought that's the whole purpose with like Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But hey, I think if now people are complaining, they probably could give people a break that like may actually have valid feedback about how this game could be more accessible to certain communities. Steve, I'm looking at you.
I knew this was going to come up at some point. This is a conversation that I've literally been having now since 2018, 2017, when Sekiro came out. Here's the thing. All right. And this may blow some people's minds if they're listening. Difficulty doesn't exist. I'm sorry. It does not exist. What's easy for some may be hard for others, and what's hard for some may be easy for others. It all is dependent on the actual like person playing. Sure, we have easy, normal, and hard mode in games. We've had that for several decades now. And people just automatically assume that, if you play a game on easy, then you're not giving yourself a challenge and you're able to kind of breeze through the story. And in some cases, there are certain things that within the difficulty that the developer was able to tweak to make the game a little bit easier or harder, depending on your own personal choice. But that is all based on a personal choice. It's not based off of a player's skill level. If a developer tried to create a difficulty around a player's skill level, then we'd have AI basically running a difficulty slider. And that's where we're seeing in some games having an adaptive AI or adaptive difficulty, where, it'll adapt based on a person's playing experience, and then we'll always kind of keep a challenge there. The thing is with FromSoft games, the reason why that they are considered difficult is because the only way to learn how to play is by failing, is by dying. That is the appeal to these kind of games. You learn the patterns of a boss, and you learn the mistakes. You learn how to be able to get past your mistakes based off of, and your mistakes are dying. You die multiple times to a boss. That is how you learn how to play.
Trial and error.
Exactly. And oftentimes, yes. Does From Software really like to put a challenge in their bosses, in their enemies for players? Yes, they do. They are genius levels at that. They're able to create a boss that is so unique and is also so it's not like that they have like we can see that they're doing the exact same pattern over and over again in the exact same order. It changes up their pattern every single time, and the whole idea of playing of that boss is you have to recognize certain patterns of certain attacks so that you can be able to expect them whenever they pop up. It's not like, okay, he's going to do this attack 3 times, then he's going to do this attack 4 times, and then this huge attack, and then I can basically figure out the pattern based off that. No, he's like, the boss will okay, I'm going to use attack 2, then I'm going to use attack 10, then I'm going to use attack 4, and it just, you have to try to figure that out, and that's where you learn, is by figuring out those patterns so that you can be able to defeat the boss. But the problem is that people think that that's a difficulty setting. Like that's somehow the bosses are super difficult because of that. Granted, it is a little bit somewhat unbalanced, because you got like a boss that can take you out in one hit, as compared to like you have to take like 15,000 hits on the boss in order to be able to actually even do any damage to them. And they did say that this was going to be a harder DLC. They also did say that you are going to have to level up again in the new DLC, because it doesn't matter what you level. A lot of people were thinking they were going to go in with an overpowered character and be like, I'm going to have so much fun. Just, it's such an easy time to trying to be able to defeat these bosses. And they're like, no, that doesn't matter. You actually have to level up using our new, I think, what was it called? The something S word, skill tree, whatever. To find these things around the world to be able to level up, to be able to defeat any bosses in the DLC. But people were we're ignoring that. And I think the problem is that people saying that it's difficult are literally the get good crowd. They don't want to accept the offers of help that the game does offer you, like summons or using like a potential like a magic build or anything like that, because they feel like that if they use those tools that the game gives you to help you beat the boss, they feel like that they did not accomplish it themselves. They did not, and they have something that could basically, they could lord over people. Be like, I was able to do this without any summons or without having to use any magic build. The fact that people are mad that people use a magic as a build instead of like proper melee, they think that that's like cheating the game. It's like, no. Yeah. It's
they put it in the game. Yeah, they put it in the game. And I also feel like it's people. I also feel like it's people like being like people. It's basically games putting you back at square one. And like people are like, I spent all these hours in the first game. Why am I going to be re-leveling up again? In a way, it's almost like stubbornness. In a way, being like, oh no, like I think I could beat this at like, say I'm like level like 12 or something like that. But you're supposed to be like level 15 to actually do it some damage. People are like, no, I'm gonna accept that challenge. And then like people spend 5 hours being like, why am I dying at this? I'm like, dude, the minimum level for this is 15. What do you think was gonna happen with your little level 12?
I literally saw probably the best example, like two best examples I saw that. I was watching a ton of streams over the weekend because I prefer, like, I actually find enjoyment of watching, not people suffer, but just watching people actually play Elden Ring.
AKA people suffering.
Well, it's also because it's like, I don't have to play this in order to be able to see other people suffering.
I've beaten so many games by watching. You have no idea.
The two people I saw the most that were going through specifically that was Kai Cenat and Dr. Lupo. The Kai Cenat was like he only kind of just started doing gaming content on Twitch, and he started literally with Elden Ring, and he keeps and he did say that that at one point that the players like just need to get better, and like he was kind of one of the sort of playing into the get good. It's like, I don't know, but like I'm doing okay, but he takes like 200 kills and 200 deaths in order to be able to defeat a boss. And same with Dr. Lupo, he just randomly found he got through this one section of the game and literally died 215 times before he was able to defeat one boss. But like he was frustrated, but it was like one of those, he was learning the different patterns. Like he was even calling him out in some cases, being like, okay, now you're gonna do this, okay, now you do this. And then he was learning how to beat this boss as he was going, and difficulty had nothing to do with it. It was just like trying to figure out what is the best timing, what is the best way to be able to go up against this particular move, whatever. That's what genius level design that From Software does. And even Miyazaki himself has said he wants people to play his games. He's not purposely putting a difficulty on it so that people don't play his games. He wants people to learn by dying, learn by playing, and then and the satisfaction you have when you finally do beat a boss and you overcome that boss, that challenge. Yeah. He's not making the game purposefully difficult for the sake of being difficult. And he said this multiple times, and unfortunately he gets misconstrued because he gets translated wrong, and people automatically, especially in the accessibility community, people automatically think that whenever he says about difficulty, people automatically think he's saying accessibility. So he gets translated as saying it's like he does anything about accessibility. It's a weird thing. I've been talking about this for years. I even wrote an article on Kotaku about this literally just this year, and it's just insane to me that people are still talking about this now, but it's just weird that accessibility is kind of just not part of it anymore. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I ain't talking about, but I'm willing to talk about this here because you guys are friends and it's fine. I can talk to them about this guy.
Well, put it to rest. You put it to rest there, right?
I'm just saying, I'm love to be able to hear your guys' opinions on it. Like, I'm only one person in this conversation. This is just something I've been talking about for a long time, but that's why I say it. Like, yes, is it more difficult than the base game? Yeah, it totally is. But it's because it's a new base, a new leveling system that players have to figure out, and because From Software are not really great, or at least within their games, are not really great at sort of leading you where you're supposed to go. They just kind of like, here's the world, figure it out. Mm-hmm. That's where I think they could probably improve their user experience a little bit more, and so that at least it could kind of at least guide players to where they should go instead of just. You can go off in one direction, and then if you fail against a boss, that's your fault. Like, it's kind of what makes they make the player feel, and that's where I think people think the difficulty lies. But I would love to be able to hear your guys' thoughts.
Well, I don't know if I have thoughts because, again, I haven't played the game, but I do think in terms of like the general discussion around difficulty in games, like it is very much like an old timer argument that really doesn't have any validity because of how, like you explained, games are made, right? Like they are made to have and specific games are made in a way where you are supposed to fail, and like those are games that I think are really interesting because it kind of breaks what you would like the baseline development of like when you think like historically like what a game is made. It's there to make the gamer feel like good about themselves because they're succeeding. But this is another type of accomplishment that is like more like the rigorous battle that you have to be able to go through it. And if that type of game isn't for you, then it's not for you. For me, that type of game isn't for me, but I do appreciate like what it stands for. And I'm not going to argue that a game is too difficult, right? Watch someone try to, if I want to know like, what's going on or like what the conversation is, I'll watch someone play that game, but I won't hop in. And I don't think that anyone should feel any game is too difficult. Like that's my frustration when they're like, oh, this game is too difficult or this game is too easy. It's like, well, no, what is the purpose of that game? Why was it developed that way? Right. I'm trying to think of a game where like, there was one like more recently where people are arguing, oh, this game was too easy. But I think that could be said for like a lot of unfortunately some people when they look at Nintendo games, they think it's too easy, and it's like, well, I completely disagree with that because there's some Mario levels that I know
beat the main story game. They're like, all right. Have fun now. This is the real challenge.
Well, even in like where I'm trying to think of the Mario game that was just out, Mario Wonder. Like some of the levels in that, like I almost like wanted to break my Joy-Cons because it was so difficult, but they have things embedded there, so it is accessible to a family audience. It is accessible to the younger members of the family, and that is the audience for these games. So to say that game is too easy, again, like I don't think that's a valid argument because it just means the game isn't for you. It's not made for you, and that is okay.
Yeah, Nintendo likes to design their games based off of demographic, that they want anyone, whether you're like 5 years old or 65 years old, you should be able to pick up a Mario game and be able to play. And I think that Mario Wonder is that. It's like, you can play the base game and, it's fine and you can get yourself through a level. But if you want that additional challenge, it is there. And I think that that's where, people just sort of assume or just, dismiss Mario games or even just Nintendo games in general, being like, they're too easy. But if they don't dig deeper, they can't find, they'll then they won't know that it actually can be a challenge, as you said, especially with Super Mario Wonder. Like I look at the creativity of the player base who make Super Mario like the Mario Maker levels. Mario Maker there are some really difficult levels that people have created in that, but it's using the mechanics of the same easy mechanics that Mario is kind of known for. And
exactly.
And you said something too about like, these games are not for me. It's like that's the only thing I'll add about accessibility in there, at least from when it regards to From Software, is that if there were some barriers that were removed because of accessibility options or something built into the game that I feel that would not break the game and it more than just adding an easy mode, I'm excluding that from the equation altogether, then it would allow me to be able to make that decision of then this game is not for me. Like the fact that Another Crab's Treasure was a Souls-like game that just came out, but it was designed actually with some accessibility built in, including my favorite accessibility option of all time is give Krill a gun. And like literally takes out, you create a gun as your shell and it takes out a boss in one shot. It's a fun, stupid mechanic that I love that the developers put in there, and it adds as an assist mode. But what was great about that game was the accessibility they added in that still kept the challenge of the game there, but with accessibility built in, it allowed me to make that decision myself.
Exactly.
I was able to decide, okay, these games are not for me, instead of the game forcing me to make that decision.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like just like I feel this is like we like many like the three of us, you know, no shame saying it. We've been doing gaming for a very long time. We've seen it all. We came with games with no internet to be like, how do I beat this game? Used to find out information on the recess time, be like, hey, how do I beat this type of thing? And you spent many years or many months, many years trying to beat one game. That's just how it was. But you also found enjoyment out of it. Like it never deterred us, like took us away from like, oh, that's like I don't want to. This game is too hard for me. I want to get another one. But we just kept at it, and I feel like such as like this DLC. It's like it's still like video games are always there to teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
This game's to teach you like how to learn patterns. You know, maybe even a little patience as well. And that's just what Elden Ring and like all these from soft games are. It's just to teach you like different patterns and like so that you could pick up like, okay, you know, I see what the pattern is. Let me try this now and like strategize different ways. And I think there'll be more complaints if this game was easy, if it wasn't hard, to be honest. Like if this game was like extremely easy, people would be like, well, what the hell did I pay this DLC for? Where was the challenge? And people would be more upset. But now that they say that like, oh, this game's too hard, I'm like, well, that's what you knew what you were getting yourself into. Like you played it before. And I don't know if it's like a mix of people who like a lot of people were introduced to Elden Ring as their first FromSoft game. And I don't know what is the balance of like the traditional FromSoft people to like the first timers of this one as well, and like people just like, hey, that's just how it is type of way. Or I don't know if it's just how a lot of things are like kind of, I don't want to say like a lot of things are kind of handed to us, but like video games are like meant to be challenged. Like there's some games that are meant to be challenging to us, and I feel like this is just one of them. And this is just like, it's also like a life lesson, like, hey, life is hard, like figure it out type of situation in a way. And I feel like this is what Elden Ring is. It's like life is hard, figure it out. And like it's also like it'll make you stronger as a person. So I don't know. I don't see why people are like really complaining about it, like knowing that like, hey, like if I finish this DLC that I paid, I don't even know how much the DLC is for. I assume it's like $40 or $50 or something like that. And I finish this in one night, I'll be a little upset by that, to be honest. I'll be like, no, I want a little longevity out of this. Like I enjoyed Elden Ring, the first one for so long. I mean, as if I played it. That is, I would want the second part to be maybe half the time that I spent at least. So
So this one, is $66.99 Canadian on Steam. This DLC, which you bring up a point, like you want it to be enjoyable, and like it doesn't necessarily mean in difficulty. It could mean in story, could mean in whatever that is supposed to bring to its user. And it's like, what is it supposed to be like? What is a DLC living up to? Like, how is it adding value to the player? And I think for this, especially with what Elden Ring was, and like even looking back to Sekiro, it's like it's known to be a challenge game, trial and error, and you have that progression, that love-hate relationship with this game. So it's like you really can't argue that it's too difficult, because that's kind of what people were boasting about when Elden Ring came out. It's like, oh, I beat Elden Ring. Like I play Elden Ring because it's difficult and I'm that type of gamer. But you also bring up another point, Marcel, because it's like looking back to like trying to look up guides on the internet, or even like further back, and like Nintendo's hotline for gamers back then to like learn how to beat The Legend of Zelda, right? Like it's like those things existed because overall a game, yes, is supposed to be challenging to some degree, but it's also supposed to be enjoyable. And if it's so difficult, or you feel like it's so difficult, air quotations, to a point that it's not enjoyable, I think that may say that it's just not for you. And again, that is okay. Like it doesn't have to be for everyone, as long as you're able to make that decision for yourself if you want to.
Yep. Oh, and I think too, it's like what I will praise Elden Ring for, that I do think that this is probably the most approachable game that From Software has made. Normally, whenever they have their games, it's you have to like you can't move forward in a game unless you basically beat a specific boss, and that happens multiple times throughout a lot of their games, like Sekiro, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all that. With this one, what makes it really approachable is that if you have trouble with a boss, you can leave, get leveled up, come back, and be able to take on that boss again. And hopefully, with if you leveled up enough, that then becomes a little bit more freeing for you to be able to play it, and a little bit more, like, I don't want to say easier, but it like a better term, it make it a little more easier for you. But what I like, but I also think too is that Elden Ring is like, it shows the genius level of the developers there. They know how to be able to create a really great user experience when it comes to like basically a fight, like combat. I think that's probably their main thing. Yes, you could say like, obviously their story or whatever, but does anyone really remember the story of Elden Ring at all? Like, it just seems like it's kind of just there, and
I just there to see how many times it takes this person to beat this boss. Basically.
That's basically it. But they are what they do best is combat. They know how to be able to create really great combat. I wish they could be able to remove some things to be able to make it accessible, but that's just me and a few other, obviously more people in the accessibility community. But I think that we have to acknowledge that yes, they know what they're doing and how to create that experience, and they are, again, they're geniuses at it. And I think that. I think the people who are upset are the wrong, are the fans that Miyazaki isn't creating the game for. He's creating the game for players who enjoy the learning by dying, the learning patterns, and learning how to be able to properly go into their combat scenario and coming out at the end of it with satisfaction that they earned that death. They earned that kill of that boss. But the folks who are basically are saying it's too difficult, or either said it's too easy, or you need to get good in order to be able to get better at this game, those are not the fans that I think that From Software wants. And they should basically just get yeeted into the sun, because they don't understand how gaming actually is. They're armchair game devs, and they don't understand how game development actually works, or how it actually exists in the world. And I think that they just derive the satisfaction that they were able to beat something and without having to receive help even from the game itself. And they just want to be able to lord it over people and pretend that they're better than everybody else. And unfortunately, that kind of breeds the wrong kind of fans. And so, I just think that those who complain or upset that the game is that the DLC is too difficult have basically grossly misunderstood what the game actually is. And hey, Miyazaki doesn't want you as a fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say one thing that I know there's people are complaining that the game isn't on Steam Deck, or there is some performance issues, which I know will kind of hinder.
Yeah, performance issues. That's a whole other.
That definitely needs to be addressed.
About.
Yeah, exactly. But everything else, everyone has its challenges. Even Superman has its challenges. He has to fight Doomsday. Come on now, all that stuff, all that nerdy stuff. But topic number 2, Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary is out today, actually.
Nice.
And it came with 4K, 60 frames, orchestra, music, and everything. So during the tweet today, Ubisoft tweeted out that it is the same dub voices as the original for English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and Dutch, with localized text for Brazilian, Portuguese, Korean, Japanese, traditional, simplified Chinese, Russian, and Polish. And then a tweet underneath that said, "Yes, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still development, and we cannot wait to discover more. We can't wait for you to discover more about Jade's past in the 20th anniversary edition." Apparently, I was watching Kind of Funny as well. They had there's also an additional mission in this one as well that kind of ties.
Oh, that's right. That ties in. Cool. Yeah.
So, if anyone lost hope, what's his name? Gordon Levitt guy. He didn't run away with the game, so the game is still in development.
I did not question it 1 second. I'm a huge fan of Beyond Good and Evil. I actually have the anniversary downloaded. I just have to find some time to hop into it.
Are you getting the physical out of curiosity, or
when the second one comes?
No, the physical of this one.
Yeah, the limited run games is
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll do that. I like Beyond Good and Evil. I do have the first one though. Maybe. I haven't decided. But honestly, like I've been talking about this. I think I might have mentioned it to you guys when we were at Summer Game Fest, because I was hoping that we would get some sort of update on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which I feel like they could have even put more love to like the 20th anniversary of Beyond Good and Evil, but that's neither here nor there. But I think it makes sense. Like they're investing in telling this story of Jade and updating fans of like, or getting new fans into the story of Jade. Because it's like, it was a cult classic. I think a lot of people didn't even know what Beyond Good and Evil was until more critics started talking about how good the story was for that time, right? And also like just the whole world it built. It was pretty heavy and dark now that I'm thinking about the story. And that's why I'm excited to play the 20th anniversary. And I think, you get fans acquainted with it, and then you go hard with the marketing for Beyond Good and Evil 2. So I'm hoping this does mean sometime, maybe Game Awards, maybe a good time to update fans on Beyond Good and Evil 2. It'd be really, really nice, because I and this is kind of a hesitation with Beyond Good and Evil 2. We saw it so long ago. I think
this is the 2016 trailer right here.
Yeah,
wow, I think 2016. Jeez,
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe time like that like just passed. But I was
which proves that this is all CG, right? Like there was never any like notion of gameplay.
Oh in this. yeah. I think we all knew that it was CG as well. But there was the
There's only been 2 trailers. Yeah.
Closed door that they did show when they revealed this at E3. And I think that's trailer 2. It came out as trailer 2 afterwards, where they actually zoom out of the world, and it's very reminiscent of like Starlink now. When you think of it, right? Because it was like you have a point in the city, and then it kind of goes out from there, and you see, or you see the broader city, and then you go out and you see the planet, and then you go out and you see like everything in that solar system. So it was like very much like expansive. But then again, even though that blew people away in 2016, 2017, would that do the same now that we've had a Starlink? Or I say Starlink, like it's the Star Fox.
I was wondering if it was because there's Starlink is Starlink is a Ubisoft game, but you're
Starfield. So like Starfield. So I wonder like what they have done to make it feel like it is up to date, because that could be a hurdle sometimes when studios take a huge break in updating the community on what's going on with the game, is it feels dated once it releases, and I'm hoping that is not the case. And the fact that they are putting some marketing dollars and obviously resources to putting out a 20th edition with the story linking 1 and 2. I'm really hoping that they've made that decision because they've actually put a lot of work into Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah.
2.
No, I agree as well. Like this, they could have easily updated the current of Beyond Good and Evil that's already on Ubisoft Connect, or even digitally, because I think there was wasn't like a remaster like a while ago that came out of this game.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're like, nope, here's the 20th anniversary and additional content as well. Maybe you're right, Camille. You were right about Perfect Dark. So you might be right about this one. That maybe we might be getting a date finally, or an actual gameplay of this game as well. And then the fact that they like with the tweet as well, like they didn't have to say anything about, oh yeah, it's still coming and we cannot wait for more. That just shows that maybe we're a lot closer. I mean, a lot closer. Yes, 2016. Like it's almost 10 years now. But maybe this is the year we're actually gonna finally see something, and maybe possibly a release date as well.
Yeah. The only thing I will add, though, they did mention the bit about the voice cast, and although it's great to see the original voice of Jade come back, Jodie Forster. I'm like, not Jodie Foster, that's the actress, the other actress. But I do wish there was some Asian representation in the voice cast because of the character Jade. And growing up and playing Jade, that stood out to me because Jade looked different than a lot of other female protagonists as well. So that's just a thing. But.
I wish I could be able to like add any more to it. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil, so I never really had a thing to any connection to the series. But hey, you know, now the 20th anniversary is out, and it's only like, I looked it up. I was surprised. I had no idea. I wasn't thought this was going to be like a $50-$60 game. No, it's $27 Canadian. To buy it like digitally. So I'm like, I think I might, you know, just buy it on Steam and just and maybe play it on my Steam Deck or something, or my ROG Ally. I don't know. I think that could be a fun time. If you guys say that the story is good, then I think I might check it out.
Yeah, it was like, and that's what I'm curious on too, because I just remember my experience with Beyond Good and Evil, and like, I think my mom might have bought the game from like the flea market or something like that. Like that's how I discovered it, and it was like this treasure. That and Dark Cloud were like the two treasures I got from that trip, and I just remember playing the heck out of it. And I wonder now if I go back, if I still feel so connected to the story as well. So that's why I'm excited to hop into the 20th.
Also, 10 is a 10 to 12 hour game as well. So
yeah,
that is definitely needed in this day and age of video games. But no, it's exciting to see. And like, I do agree as well. The fact that I found it kind of odd with Ubisoft Forward this year. That's why I was kind of like, it felt like stuff was missing. But I don't know if they had like agreements, like even like like Just Dance has always been a staple. They had that for Nintendo Direct. Maybe they had a deal with Nintendo being like, hey, you always sell the most copies of Just Dance. You guys get to announce it. And then even like this, like the Beyond Good and Evil, like it was rumored last week before it was announced. It was announced previous week before it was announced on Thursday last week. And I just found it weird. Like, wouldn't that be something you want to like celebrate? Like, you celebrate 35 years of Prince of Persia. Why not bring up Beyond Good and Evil on the same show? Be like, hey, something cool is coming out. Stay tuned. And then you can even say like, Beyond into it's still happening. Just so you know, you can still like give people hopes of something. So, because they gave us like a candle trailer for Prince of Persia remake, why not give us something for like Beyond Good and Evil as well? Like
still in development.
That's still in development. That's fine. Like it just felt like the show was a little short in a way, and I feel like, why are you taking out your own content and like shooting yourself in the foot a little bit?
That was the thing I was kind of thinking about. I was like, why? Like, I would have thought they would just let the sequel like just, you know, okay, it's dead. Like without them having to say it, you know, taking it out in the back of the shed and just shoot it, that kind of thing. Like I'm surprised that they even acknowledge like, hey, it's still happening. I'm like, for going on now, like, okay, it was 26, so going on 8 years and we haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Like, where I swear I don't think that, like much
like
Prince of Persia remake and also Splinter Cell, I don't think they exist.
I know I was in a fever dream recovering from Summer Game Fest, but this wasn't in the showcase at all, right?
No, that's what I mean. That's why I brought it up. Why not bring this up?
Yeah, because so the last tweet from the Beyond Good and Evil Twitter account, because that's what I follow, or the X account, is November 29th, right? And then it's like, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary and we want like we're excited to announce the official launch of like the celebrations early 2023 or 2024. Nothing happens all of 2024. June 18th.
Yeah.
They're like they put out
after
like
we come back.
After we come back.
That's what I mean. Like, why not announce this at the show? That's why I brought up.
Not even like, okay, like maybe 2 weeks after. This is like 2 days after Summer Game Fest. Yeah. They put out a tweet just saying, hey, 20th anniversary. Whoa.
Well, limited run games in their showcase.
Yeah,
they did have.
That's what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, which but I'm surprised actually they had like the exclusive on it, where it's like Ubisoft had a lot more power. Like the fact that limited run games was like, nah, we got the trailer for it. And yet Ubisoft was like, no, we can, like, well, I don't know.
Nothing we can do about it. Even if it's our property.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, Ubisoft confused me sometimes.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is like, are they still on the fence with 2? Which I'm like, oh, this is like real far. to the point where they're like actually trying to make a decision if they pull the plug on it. And they're trying to see how the 20th anniversary does. But then again, like, wouldn't then you want to market it at like the biggest showcase, like the 20th anniversary at the biggest showcase for UB? I don't know.
I think this is kind of like, this is the appetizer we're getting. Like it's weird how they're doing it.
They're giving us some cake before they give us the bad news, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I actually think the game is gonna come out. Like there's gonna be something announced. I just found it odd they didn't announce it at Ubisoft Forward. It just like that's where all the eyes are at. Why not? I mean, yes, Limited Run, yeah, they had their announcement and everything, but like I feel like the most eyes was at Ubisoft Forward. This is like, so I'm like, why would you not bring this up? You brought up the fact that Prince of Persia is coming out. You had a simple trailer.
Yeah, you allowed that to go into the showcase, but nothing for the 20th anniversary.
Like, yeah, and I mean simple in the terms of like it's easier for them to do it than someone like me to do, like make this trailer. Like they're like, oh yeah, we
could have made this trailer. Yeah, like give us like 5 minutes in Chat GPT. We could have made this trailer.
Something like that. But like the fact that they had that ready to announce with they'd be like, yeah, it's coming out. Be like, wouldn't you just do the same thing with like, hey, Beyond Good Evil, more news coming later this year?
Or even this, Marcel. What about Splinter Cell? They've been working on that for a lot longer than the remake.
That's it. Simple.
I don't know, man. Ubisoft confuses me sometimes. I love their games. I will always play them. I think they are also the best in the business when it comes to accessibility. But when it comes to them, their own games,
I'll give them that. The amount of stuff they're coming out with this year and like announcements for 2024, I'll definitely give them that. But like that Forward show, I was like, something's missing on the show.
Yeah,
like,
the big things are missing.
Like everything we've seen, like yes, we heard of, and like even the whole Just Dance announcement taken out, which was one of like your like big revenue games. Like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, it's coming to Nintendo? Like, why would we make that like a Nintendo Direct exclusive announcement? Like,
it's so weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was just looking at my schedule. I'm like, when can I play the 20th anniversary? Is this a game I want to commit to now that we don't know what's happening with you? You know, I'm like, let me revisit it. And just
it's fine. I think you can. It's a 20th anniversary. Like
it's 12 hours, you know.
See how I feel before I like get my soul crushed or something. And they say 2's not in development anymore. Oh my god! But I mean, for them to
you need a palate cleanser for not playing from playing Elden Ring. So you're
exactly
all your Elden Ring watching. You know. Final topic of today. Sony's developing a PS3 emulation for select titles on PS5. I feel like we hear this rumor every year. I feel like, to be honest.
Well, did they confirm it's like on PS5? I know this is rumors anyways, but I thought the rumors were just that they're in the make of like some sort of backwards compatibility. I guess on PS5. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I think it really is probably tied into their PlayStation Plus access, whatever, like the ones that you can be able to stream games, that whatever that plan is, because like stream older games essentially. Because PS3 hardware is notoriously like not compatible with anything current or modern. Like it was I think it was the specific processor that they used was terrible. That's why a lot of PS3 games were not compatible with PS4. When that came out, so the fact that they're able, if this is happening, the fact they're able to get to this now and be able to like emulate at least some games on the PS3, like that'd be great. I mean, you're like the things that you learn in game dev. By the way, this is kind of like a fun thing that I learned not too long ago. And this is kind of more in regards to the Xbox 360, but I would not be surprised if this was what developers had to do even with the PS3. There were times in development for some games for Xbox 360 where in order for them to be able to load from one level to another, they would literally have to restart the system itself, the actual console itself, just to be able to reload the new level, and the player never knew because it just had a loading screen. But in the background, it's literally rebooting your Xbox 360 in order for the next level to be able to play. That's how sometimes you have to hack a system in order for that to even work. So I would not be surprised that basically that PS3 is very much like that, where it's like just trying to be able to emulate anything from that system is a nightmare in and of itself.
I'm trying to think of like PS3 games. Like, so apparently they already brought like trophies and are updating it. I mean, I do sometimes play like Harvest Moon, the OG Harvest Moon that was on PS1 on my PS5 just because memories. But when I want to cry and sulk, I play it and feel good about
when you're recovering from Summer Game Fest.
Yeah. But like, I'm just curious, like, what are the PS3 games that you want to see emulated come back and be able to play on PlayStation 5? Because for me, immediately I think of like Alice. I think that would be a really good one, and to collect some trophies. And sorry, Steve, the real Steve, the fake Steve, I know is loves his trophies. So I feel like he would also probably want to contribute to this, but since he's not here, real Steve, do you have any
Elden Lord Steve, actually?
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
I think that's gonna be my new thing for this system, is that I'm just gonna like randomly change my name just based on the conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was any other games that I would want to see. I mean, I think like one of the things actually, I think the reason why that everyone complains about the Last of Us getting a remake on the PS5 when they already had one for the PS4. I think it was literally just so that because they knew that they had one of their biggest franchise at the time when they were transitioning from PS3 to PS4. They're like, we need to make sure this works on the PS4, so remake it right away. And so that's why we see those kind of like those different remakes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I never played the PS3. Like, at least of in the games that kind of like were, like, they never really stuck with me. Like anything that kind of like I would want to be able to see be emulated or playable on PS5.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Persona 5, like the OG. I swear that has so many remasters.
It's a Persona 5 Royal, like at the original Persona 5?
Yeah, Persona 5. But I mean, like, that like gets a version every year, it feels like.
Well, yeah, Persona 5 Royal is pretty much the de facto version now at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to
like, a lot of these games have already been like remastered. Like, I'm looking at like Uncharted 2, like Grand Theft Auto, that's
Fallout 3,
the
Call of Duty, Metal Gear,
like Red Dead Redemption 2, Last of Us.
Is God of War 3 available to play? Oh yeah, no, that's able to play on PS4.
Yeah, that was
Arkham City. Yeah, Skyrim.
Arkham City actually would be really good. Arkham City would be really good. I think a lot of people would go back for Arkham City.
Well, no, but they already have that. It's the Arkham edition.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like, what is the value here? Is this the right move? Is this what we should be focusing on?
I would imagine probably maybe some PlayStation exclusives could that could come out, but I'm like trying to think of like. It would be
Uncharted, right? Uncharted, right? Would be
Uncharted, but they already did that one. Yeah,
Among Thieves.
And I don't think you're getting Metal Gear either, because they already have their own collections coming out.
Oh yeah, they got the Metal Gear Solid franchise. That was original Killzone, maybe.
LA Noire, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, LA Noire was already. They had the remastered already. Yeah.
What about Killzone? I know that was a PlayStation franchise. Did that ever get remade? Killzone?
No, that like Killzone 2 was the last one, I think, and then
because that was Guerrilla, right? That was before they switched to Horizon.
Yeah.
So maybe
the Ratchet
Killzone.
and Clank games.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Little Big Planet.
Oh, Infamous. Was that ever ported to PS4?
Oh, let's see. Oh. Infamous. No.
Well, apparently there was a Killzone 3.
Oh.
But I don't know if that was ever like PS4 too, because I'm just looking at the list on Reddit. They're saying what the
I don't
Ratchet and Clank, Crank in Time.
Yeah, and then they had like the Assault one. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, one big one. Ridge Racer.
Yay!
Or if you want to add more pain and suffering, Dark Souls.
Right.
which was remastered too.
They did remaster Demon Souls, so there was that. I did see that on that on the list.
Yeah, what the heck?
There was a One Piece game.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, those we I feel like we just never like they weren't as popular to be marketed here as opposed to like in Asian countries back then.
Yeah, probably there's a bunch of maybe Japanese games that never got ported.
I think Little Big Planet may be a good one.
Yeah,
the original show up there. The original one, Heavenly Sword. Oh my god!
Wow, that's
the
crazy.
way back playback. Yeah, I feel like
I don't know.
Sure, for people that want to play PlayStation 3 games. I mean, if this is for you, this is for you. What this does show, because they have been updating the trophies and like some of the games, like there's more PS1 and PS2 games coming to I can't even remember what it's called, that service on PlayStation 5. It means, I think, they're going to shake it up a bit. We're going to see a shake up in the price points and everything like that. I feel like this is kind of leading to like, because we were talking about this before, like, you know, with how they have it structured, like the essentials, like there's too much happening. I think there may be a shakeup or more value in some of those categories.
Yeah. I think it's probably, again, it probably will just pop up as like streaming access on one of the PlayStation, PS Plus, whatever. Because I think that's what makes sense. Because as much as I think that I would love to be able to, you know, see Sony actually like adopt its older games and actually like do them justice. I think pretty much a majority of the ones that people would really want to play are already out on PS4 or already on PS5. So
yeah. Well, it's just interesting how like Sony never planned on doing backwards compatible. Where like I feel like the other systems are like, well, we'll have it as a like. I never forget the Wii U had like literally the Wii was in the Wii U. Like it'll just reboot itself and like start up as the Wii. Like here's all your stuff. Like I don't know why Sony's like, yeah. Sorry, we'll figure it out when we figure it out, type of thing. So I think it's because
they knew that they screwed up with the PS3. I think that they lost that generation to the Xbox 360, and you know, and then they shot themselves in the foot by like, you know, the architecture. That I think it was just more of a hardware issue than necessarily anything else. So, and you know, and then they redeemed themselves with the PS4, and I think that's. And they're definitely seeing the dividends of the PS5. But I also still think, too, it's like, and this kind of opens up even broader conversation. Maybe we can have this for another time. But it's sort of like we've seen that report of, you know, of players today that are not really playing like in a lot of newer games. They're playing games that are like 6 years old and older. Mm-hmm. And even the report that's like half of the PlayStation players today are still playing on PS4 and instead of PS5. And it kind of makes me wonder, it's like, are we kind of getting into that point where, because there's just too many games coming out, that players just sort of find the games that they want to play and just stick with them, and they're like, I don't want to be able to try anything else unless like maybe one big thing kind of comes through.
I think I see what you're saying. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's just we're still at the point where people need to see more value in PlayStation 5 in other countries where it's not as accessible. I think, you know, when you look at how long the PS4 was on the market and how many people have it to play like FIFA around the world, right? Yeah. It's just like that is going to completely outweigh PS5 users right now, just because of the value there.
Yeah, absolutely. Camille, why don't you take it home for us? What's going on for you the rest of the week?
I was like, what am I supposed to say? I'm like, what am I supposed to say?
That's the end of the show. We're done.
It was weird. This is my first time. I was like, what am I supposed to say? Bye? Well, yes, bye. But this week, what am I doing this week? I have NASCAR tonight, so you can watch the VOD of that when this episode goes live. And then I will be at VidCon this week. And
VidCon is this week?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my god! Wait, it's literally the same weekend as Twitch.
Oh.
Sorry, say it again. My bad. I've been pressing buttons.
He's been too crazy.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this.
Wait, VidCon is happening the same time as TwitchCon Europe?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're going to VidCon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be leaving. I'm just gonna go for a couple days. I have work out there, but yeah.
You're close to Disney. You should go to Disney.
I was thinking that, but it's also Canada Day long weekend, and also am very tired of traveling so much. So I want to just come home. My garden has not been doing that this well this season, guys, and it's pretty sad. I have to put more TLC to it. So that's what I plan to do. But I will be at VidCon. You can catch me with the Elf Cosmetics booth. I think we're going live on Friday. So I'll be doing that.
Nice. Awesome. I need to do more of those. I've never gone live at a booth at a con before. I'd like to give that a try at some point.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Elden Lord Steve.
I'm doing, I've got nothing much, pretty much going on. Just keep following me on socials. I'm actually experimenting more by doing some more YouTube Shorts content. So I put up one today actually that seems to be doing pretty well, where I actually kind of give my own POV shot of what it's like for me to go through an airport.
Oh wow!
So
I like that.
Yeah, so good. Actually, you inspired it, Camille, because you're like, you should do more lifestyle content. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll give it a try. And so that's what I've been doing, and tried it out on YouTube, and seems to be doing okay. So yeah, follow me at Steve Saylor pretty much everywhere, and yeah.
Sick. Can't wait to see that. For me, I am finally at the tail end of Summer Game Fest reviews.
Wait, no, stop. You have to make yourself bigger.
Not bad. Sorry. All right. As for me, it's so weird. But it's for me, I'm still catching up on Summer Game Fest. I'm at the tail end of all the announcements and games there that have all been announced and that we can now talk about as well. And I also have some good old tech hardware coming out as well. Logitech just announced a new keyboard that I'm going to be testing out very shortly. So
yeah, it looks pretty cool, but I need the number keys. Everyone's always doing the 10 key list. So I'm like,
I know, I miss it. This is why the G915 is still like my favorite one, because
I've been using that ever. I've been using that for years, and it's great.
It's perfect. But no, they always make great products, and I'm always excited to test out their products and everything. Yeah, I'm still playing Wakes the Deep, hoping to finish that tonight. Tonight when this comes out. So yeah.
By the way, did you say that about the Logitech because you're literally wearing a Logitech G shirt right now?
I just realized.
No, not the fact that we're using Logitech's Talk Studio either. No. They're not over there writing down stuff. No, we're good.
We love Logitech G around here.
We love them. Yeah. What do you get the headphone off of you, Camille? Get that off of you.
Logitech G
headphone.
There we go.
Headphone. Exactly. It's just
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll see you all here next week, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care.
Bye.